Hi friends, it's Julia. I'm here today to share my December 2019 Christmas stash kit layout. This is the second layout that I've created with this kit, and it is inspired by Christy's Beautiful Life YouTube channel. She did the 30 days of sketches for November 2019, and so I'm just following along with those sketches. And this is number 2. She did not identify where the sketch came from. Yeah, beautiful sketch that used a lot of mixed media down the center of it to create the background. And I'm not really a big mixed media girl. I don't really like super messy things. And so here I grabbed out some spray mist because I was determined I was going to use some. And then it's been so long since I used it. It's clogged up. So I just popped the lid and sprinkled some of it around. And I like how that looks, but gosh, it's messy. Sure thankful I have that box there, but I still managed to get it all over my hands and on my desk. And so you see me, I grabbed the paper towel roll and I wiped my hands with it, and now I'm going to clean up my desk surface some, because like I said, I made a huge mess with that. But anyway, I had pulled together my Christmas stash kit, and I had decided that I had wanted to play along with Christy's Beautiful Life last month when I was watching her 30 days of sketches, and I really wanted to do that process for December and get all of my layouts done for previous years. It didn't work out that way, but I still decided that I'm going to follow along with it. It'll just probably be January before the layouts go up, and I doubt I'll get one done every day. So you might get 1 or 2, and then you might get a grouping of 4 or 5. You know, it kind of depends on how I feel in my scrapping mood. With work too, we're coming into one of our busier times of the year. The holidays make for sick patients in the hospital, and so I tend to work a lot during this time of the year. Anywho, so I'm just going through, and I laid some of these border strips. That one border strip, the gold one, is from K & Company. It's one that I had added into my kit. Now, the one that I'm just putting down there is actually a branding strip, if you will. It doesn't have a product name. It was just off one of the Felicity Jane papers that was colored on each side. One side was gray, one side was red. And so at the bottom, it had that pretty scallop that I cut off to make the paper a 12 by 12. And so you see, I just laid it out there as just another embellishment to go down. Here I'm taking a bit of washi tape that I've put down the black, and then this is also another branding strip. On the back side of this red paper is the Basil brand name because it came off one of the Basil pieces of paper that I added. The photo itself is of my husband and I wrapping gifts for our family for Christmas. We typically hoard the gifts into our spare room until right before Christmas, and then we'll spend the day wrapping those gifts. And that day that I took the photograph, I set up my camera on a tripod and just, snapped a few pictures of us wrapping the gifts throughout the day. And this was probably the best one of the two of us. Wrapping gifts. We have an assembly line process, and I tell that story on my journal spot when I get around to it. It's maybe not the best way to do things, but it's how we do it, and it works for us. He does the bulk of the wrapping of paper, and I do the bulk of embellishing, adding the ribbons, the bows, and the tags and things. And so there you see, I'm looking if I want to place my journaling on the back of that one little Santa card that I have stuck down in the glassine bag, because I know I'm going to use that. But ultimately, I decide I don't want to try and put that journal spot down on the back of the card. And so now my debate comes, do I want to just add a second journal card, or how do I want to do that? So I kind of play with things as I create the layout. I kind of had in my mind how I wanted this layout to turn out whenever I started by following the sketch. But if you go over to Christy's Beautiful Life and you look at the second day sketch, it has very little background paper. You have one simple background paper that has a ton of mixed media, and you may have a little bit of bordering paper behind the photo that's small and down in the corner. So even though I used that as my inspiration, I really ran with it and did my own thing. So that means I changed things up. I added border strips down the middle and across the bottom instead of paint or mixed media stripes, where you put use a paintbrush to paint the stripes on or whatever. Yeah. And so I did it this way instead of the other, which is okay for me. I don't mind that because, I've said it before many times on my channel that mixed media is not my thing, and I'm okay with that. So here at the beginning of the layout or the video, you saw I had all the embellishments and everything down on the table, and I was moving everything out of the way. When I am preparing to do a video, sometimes what I will do is I will pull everything out on my desktop, and then it may lay there for a day or so before I come back and I scrapbook with it. And I think that's what I did here. I had laid it all out like the night before, and the day that I'm scrapping, I had come in from work, I believe, and just started scrapping with everything that was laid out. And that's typically what I do when I scrapbook after work. One night might be to pre-plan the layout as far as putting all the supplies out that I think I might use on a layout to follow a sketch along. And then the next night I'll come in and scrapbook. And so that's what I'm doing here. So in the glassine bag that I've added there, I've got a journal card that, or a tag, if you will. The back side of it is blank. I was going to put it on a piece of cardstock, and then I opted not to. I just left it. But I wanted that in the bag because it's got Santa holding his list for names, and you can check either naughty or nice off. And so I didn't check anything off. I just left it as is and went in and added all of my grandkids' names to the list. Now, down at the bottom, I added a doily. Then I added a circle that I had stamped, and inside that circle, I placed a flare that I had taken the foam adhesive off the back of. It came pre-manufactured that way out of the package, and so I just scraped that foam adhesive off and put down just a glue dot because it was really bulky with that foam adhesive behind it. And you can see I'm just going through, and I added some ribbon to the top of the tag, and that's going to be my journaling spot. I wrapped ribbon at the top of that one as well, and I used my tiny attacher to staple the ribbon on. There I'm adding a piece of tag. It says to and from, and using one of those silver clips. And I'm still debating because I'm thinking I'm wanting to use that cut apart piece there that says wrapping gifts, but I don't. So I put down a piece of chipboard there, and at the very end I'm going to opt to take it off. But I leave it there for a very long time, like I said, till the very end. So I'm looking at the stamp that I have, and I knew I wanted to journal on this layout and tell about our assembly line process. And in doing that, the stamp set that I have there, I believe is Felicity Jane as well. It says the story of, and then another little phrase on there says wrapping presents. So my journaling prompt is the story of wrapping presents. And I just tell, like I told you earlier, it's about our assembly line process that we go through wrapping gifts for our family. Our kitchen becomes quite the chaos, quite the mess of wrapping supplies and gifts, because they all end up all over the kitchen floor as we're wrapping rather than under the tree. We get them all wrapped and then we load them under the tree. But here you can see I still have tons of embellishments and stickers and things laying around. I kind of keep everything out until I'm done with the layout, or as I go along and I know that I'm not going to use it, I might pull it over to the side and put it back in a container, like if it's a die cut or a cut apart piece or something like that, or a sticker sheet. I might put the stuff up until as I'm going along. But by the time I get the layout done, usually everything is put away or pushed far enough to the side that I know that I'm not going to use it. And so that's where I go through and I add all of my grandkids' names onto the Santa's list there. Anyway, I hope that in creating these layouts, I am inspiring you guys to get into your stash of supplies, scrapbooking supplies or crafting supplies, card making supplies, whatever type of supplies that you have at home. I hope I'm inspiring you to get into your stash and use it to create something today. And that's the whole purpose of me doing these videos. I want to be able to inspire people to create with the things that they have. And I know if I have it, chances are a lot of you have it too, because a lot of my supplies are a bit older. This year I did pull in the Felicity Jane stuff that's brand new, but a lot of the stash that I have is older products. So I hope I inspired you to get some of those older things out of your stash and to get them used on a Christmas craft or a Christmas layout or a Christmas card. There I added one of those shaker pocket thingies that I got from American Crafts. And so I just put it down right there at the top beside the title. And it is black, and on the inside of it, it says Merry Christmas. It has a lot of the colors in that Felicity Jane background paper there with all the dots on it. Love that paper. And now I'm just going through and I'm adding a few little stickers here and there. And they are silver sparkly snowflake. The alphabet that I have, the tile letters that I have at the bottom of the photo that says wrapping gifts, is actually white with silver foiled letters. Don't ask me why I put a gold strip down the middle and then use silver on the letters. I don't know. Craziness, I guess. Anyway, so I'm going through there and I'm kind of looking to see if I want to add a third gift to that, or maybe use it in that area where I feel like I have some trapped space. But ultimately, I just decide to leave it alone and leave that space alone and let the border strips be the guide, or what your eye lands on in that area. Anywho, I'm just going through and adding some little bits and pieces here and there to finish telling the story and to embellish, the layout. I sure appreciate you guys stopping by. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this using your stash, please feel free to subscribe. And if you like what you saw today, I would love it if you would flip me a thumbs up. That's the only way I really know if people are enjoying what I do, is if I get those thumbs up notifications. Yeah. Otherwise, I have no way of knowing. Ever so often, I'll get a dislike or two on a layout, and that's fine. I mean, everybody has their own opinion, and there's some layouts that I get done, or cards and I get done, and I'm like, oh, I'm not too crazy about that. And so either or, whatever you choose to leave as far as notifications, that's fine. You guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.